This video is brought to you by HalloCasa. Our tool transforms independent local real estate agents to global real estate agents. Create your own profile for free and get contacted by international investors. Sign up with the link in the description. Hello and welcome everyone to our 171st session of HalloCasa. My name is Michael and today I'm talking to Peter Mancini, a licensed real estate broker based in Brooklyn, New York. As the son of Italian immigrants and a former educator, Peter brings a unique blend of hard work, empathy, and a deep commitment to knowledge and service to every transaction. He's known for being responsive, thorough, and generally caring, always putting his clients first. Peter, always happy to talk to people from New York City, and you're based in Brooklyn. Really curious about what you're talking about regarding the market right now. And yeah, welcome to the show. Why don't you introduce yourself to our audience?
Hi, everyone. I'm Peter Mancini of Pen Realty. I'm one of the founders of Pen Realty. We've been a boutique brokerage for the past 5 years. We're based in Park Slope, Brooklyn. What do I bring to my clients? But before I get to that, I am ending my teaching career. I've been a music teacher for the past 25 years, in conjunction with being a real estate broker for almost 14 years. I have a short time left in my teaching career, and I take all that knowledge that I've learned and all the experience from teaching, I bring that into my real estate transactions. So I am well versed in helping people. I'm well versed in guiding people. I'm well versed in teaching those moments where people need sometimes a little bit of help when we're going through a transaction.
Give us a bit more of a context there. You think that your teaching skills are definitely one of the main, let's say, assets you bring to the table, and you think this is definitely a cornerstone of a good real estate agent. Give us more context. I'm curious.
Yeah, I really do. I think that every moment is teachable. I think working with the clients, we're as I've always told my students, I tell my clients, I'm learning as we're working, I'm learning from you and you're learning from me. So the idea is that the relationship, we're trusting each other, which is a monster of core value we have, and the loyalty that we have. So we're trusting and we're being loyal to each other to work together. I bring a specific set of skills when I work for a buyer, when I work with a seller. And I rely on the seller and the buyer to be transparent and work with me. So therefore, when we work together, we're learning from each other. What better way than being a teacher to bring that to the table? It's interesting because each moment I see some stuff is repetitive, but some stuff we have to pivot. So we go in this direction, we go in that direction because certain things happen at certain times. So I think teaching for me has been a monster advantage. Being an athlete too, I played collegiate basketball when I was younger. I've always believed that sports and those opportunities that we get in sports kind of lead us to great opportunities in business too. So I've had an interesting blend of opportunities in my career.
What's the real estate market looking like at the moment in Brooklyn?
The real estate market in Brooklyn is, I would say it's flat. If you're priced aggressively, way above where comparables and everyone else is kind of marketing at, it really doesn't go anywhere. If you're priced lower, then you're probably going to sell quicker. But I think with the interest rates being as high as they are, and money being so expensive, as I said before, with the interest rates, and people thinking that sometimes their house is worth whatever it's worth, houses sit longer on the market and they take a longer time to sell. And what happens is the values. Also, we're going through this big change with the NAR, where sellers have more control of what's happening when they're listing a property. But in the reality of it, if it's not explained correctly, they're actually probably losing control.
Okay, let's go step by step. First and foremost, towards the international audience, how much are they real estate? Or what's the interest?
Say it again.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for both points. Let's go step by step here. First question, the interest rate, how much is it if I go for like an average mortgage? I know it depends on the credibility of each of each investor and stuff, but what is like the average rate starts right now, especially with context that we're talking to an international audience, and I am aware of North America right now having higher interest rates than in Europe, for example.
Yeah. So the interest rates are hovering right around 7%. 5 years before, we were around 3%. That is a major difference. Prices, everyone believed would come down, but my average sale is usually over $1.2 million. So being at $1.2 million at 7%, the math is very simple. It's very expensive. We always recommend that you work with a mortgage professional, a banker or a mortgage broker. They can really explain everything better to you, but that has caused a lot of hesitation on buyers because money is so expensive.
I understand. Give us more meat to the bone regarding right now, let's say your deal flow and the deal flow of your colleagues in Brooklyn. Is it that you have, I see your portfolio right now. Is it that just like super stealth, or is it that you have, some wannabe purchasers, but in the end, like nothing is really moving because they're not getting qualified, they're not getting the pre-qualification from the bank, and they're hitting you up anyways. However, you have to push them back and say, listen, we first need to understand that if you're even pre-qualifying. How is that like on a daily basis to get an idea there?
So working with buyers is a very interesting uh, idea. When people go onto Pen Realty and they're looking at a property, I get that information and it feeds back to me. I reach out to them and then I go through what they would need. Are they pre-approved? Do they have proof of funds? I don't see so much them not being able to qualify. What I see is the hesitation on the amount of money that they would have to pay monthly and when what they're getting. So New York City is always New York City. It's an amazing place to live. It's an amazing place to be in. But the reality of work has changed too. The reality of living has changed too. Remote work, hybrid work. So if I can move across the pond and go to New Jersey and it's half the price, these are considerations that have to come in. So buyers in New York City, especially in Brooklyn, what I see, they're on the sideline waiting for the right deal. They're on the sideline waiting for the right price. And we still haven't gotten there yet. Prices aren't moving as down or up as we'd like them on the brokerage side. And buyers, when the serious buyer comes along, we try to move with them as quickly as we can, so that way they're satisfied and the seller's satisfied too.
Coming to your own boutique company, I am aware of the fact that many people are sticking to franchises, Remax, other maybe smaller real estate companies. You had the guts and the courage to start your own brand. First question, what motivated you to start your own instead of staying with another established brand, Century 21, Remax, maybe even EXP, what have you?
Great question. So after a while you're working for someone else and you're basically doing all the work yourself, you don't have the support systems that you would like because you're working for the other brokerage and they have their systems in place while you're trying to create your systems. At that point, I said to myself, why am I giving away the money that I'm earning to someone else? I have to say um, I was very grateful for the education that I got from the other brokerage I was with. They were great mentors to me and they taught me a lot, but it really came down to one, more control for myself, and two, really keeping more of the equity that I worked for myself. And then eventually, the goal was as I end my career in teaching, I would really like to start my own team and start my own to make my boutique even bigger. So I had those visions coming towards the beginning of my transition from the ex brokerage to Pen Realty. So that was the main reason to actually have more control of what was happening.
Absolutely. You're confirming basically one of the things which I'm hearing a lot. You are in the end a freelancer working for a franchise. There's no, let's say, security. You're working your butt off. You have to get inventory, make everything work, and then in the end, you are getting the nice, let's say, cut of 40 or 50, or sometimes in the beginning, like even 60% of uh, in order to hold up a brand where you don't even have anything to
Yeah,
save.
the reality of the brand is the brand does carry weight. I mean, if you're with the Douglas Elliman, if you're with a Compass, if you're with Cochrane, the Sirhan too, those brands have tremendous weight. But if you don't do the work, it doesn't matter what the brand says. So it's like you're saying, you need to really be the one hustling for that business. And then if you're comfortable enough working for whoever you're working for and giving whatever you're willing to give away, that's fine. I decided that that wasn't something I wanted to do anymore, and I as a I always equated to the conducting. As a conductor, you're in control of the orchestra. Now I'm in control of the brokerage. It's very similar. It's a wonderful feeling.
Talking about Pen Realty, give us an overview there. What services are you offering? What geographical market, maybe in Brooklyn, we have to say zip code, are you offering or are you covering? Sorry. And also, are you, I'm curious that technically, are you in the MLS and then basically getting like the entire local MLS feed, which you then are promoting, or how does it work? How's your approach there?
Yeah. So I'll answer the last one first. So at Penn Realty, we're members of the Real Estate Board of New York and the Brooklyn MLS. So we basically cover all of Manhattan, all of and downtown Brooklyn areas. That's the revenue part of it. The Brooklyn MLS basically covers all of Brooklyn, New York, and some parts of Staten Island and some parts of Queens. So we basically cover through the MLS syndication the five boroughs. That being said, our office, our hub is in Park Slope 11215. So for the majority of my career, it's been basically North and South Brooklyn. Growing up, I never thought Brooklyn had North and South, but as I work in real estate, I've now found out South Brooklyn is Bay Ridge, Dyker Heights, Sunset Park, Bensonhurst. North Brooklyn becomes downtown Brooklyn, where we are located, Park Slope, Clinton Hill, Cobble Hill, Carroll Gardens, and then Dumbo area and all that area. So we basically cover all of that. For the most part, our business is from primarily in Park Slope, Bay Ridge, Dyker Heights, and a little bit going into Borum Hill and Carroll Gardens.
I see, because you have very, very like directly on top Williamsburg. So as you say, it can be like a bit difficult to really make the difference there. And I'm right now looking at your map, which is beautifully structured, and I also see your inventory. So there's like the question, like where does South Williamsburg end? And I see like Flushing Avenue, Park Avenue, summer houses. Is summer houses already Brooklyn, or is it or is it all still Williamsburg?
Yeah, Williamsburg is like going towards the end of Brooklyn. It's a very posh neighborhood now. That part of Brooklyn is very young, very different than South Brooklyn. Though they're basically working place, or they're working into, or they get the access to Manhattan is very functional there. Greenpoint, Williamsburg, Dumbo, all that area right there it's a little further up from where our office is. Prospect Heights, all that area right there is very young and very It's very gentrified too. So it's very interesting area in Brooklyn. Very different than the Brooklyn that I grew up when I was a kid, that's for sure.
Your brand positioning and your service positioning, why should I contact you if I'm trying to either sell or buy a real estate in your area?
Sure, definitely. So as a seller, you know that you get Peter Mancini, Pen Realty. Now, what does that mean? Transparency. That means that we're going to do everything in our power to work for you. In a big brokerage firm, they are great, but numbers matter. And the reality is that they have to meet certain quotas and meet certain things. And we're here for clients. We're here to produce the best for our clients. And sometimes that means telling them what they really don't want to hear. I had a client that I just re-met with on a co-op that we're going to be listing very very soon in Park Slope proper, and he had his family's home to sell in Flatbush, and it was a familiar thing going on, and I had told them, look, this doesn't seem right to me. I think you need to fix this before you really call me. And then I think the best thing for you to do is to work it out with your family. And that's what they did, which meant I lost business. But the reality was when they now that they're listing their family's co-op, they said to me, the reason why we're using you and not someone else is your integrity. So that's what we bring to the table. We bring that honesty, we bring that loyalty, and we bring that transparency where if it's not just about dollars and cents, it's about doing what's right for people.
It goes along pretty much what you're saying. You're just reminding me of a very interesting conversation I had with David DePong from Los Angeles. And he said, listen, I see myself as a lifetime partner, and I am more interested in nurturing relationships and becoming like, let's say a companion, a lifetime companion. And I don't need to hit a quota. I'm good. Of course, in the end, that's my revenue model. But on the other hand, for me, I really am customer centric. And I want to make sure that you are running, like you're walking out of this deal and you say, listen, this was amazing. This was a good one. Do you agree with that one? Can you resonate with this?
I mean, look, everything you said there should be the ideal for every agent at the end of the day. Because the reality is we do want to build lifetime relationships with people. Because once a customer feels, a client feels that we've done good by them, they're going to refer us to someone else. And when that referral comes in, that makes me feel even better because I know that I've done something so well and treated someone so well that instead of thinking of anyone else, they thought of me. So David in LA, that is absolutely wonderful to hear that someone else feels and does what I do too. It's a cutthroat business. People are undercutting commissions, and because commissions aren't set, you basically can work for whatever commission you want to. We do have we don't like to sell ourselves out because our work is what is important to us. And when you hire us, we don't like to discount our services. And if I start by discounting my services, what am I going to do for you later when someone comes? So I firmly believe in that. And I firmly believe in the relationship part of it where I want to do what's right for you and your family, obviously.
First question, I assume you're working fully exclusive for a certain amount of time. So I want to sell. I say, hey, Peter, what's up? You say, okay, first thing, like, let's make an exclusive deal for 3 months, maybe 1 month, 6 months, I don't know. And then you list it on your system and then it's published to all the MLS systems. Everyone can basically like also sell it. And then if they get like, because there might be buyer's agents, if they get like a lead, they will contact you, but you can be 1% sure that no one is going to steal your listing and maybe then, undercutting it, as you just mentioned. That's why I'm asking, undercutting the commission, undercutting maybe even the price. Is my assumption right, or where am I off?
Once you sign an exclusive right to sell with Peter Mancini, Pen Realty, right? Or whoever you sign with at that point, you're going to give us, and you're going to give that brokerage and that agent the exclusivity to represent you. When we go through all this now, you're going to agree to how much you want to pay on the listing side, and you're going to agree how much you want to pay or not pay on the buy side. I always recommend my clients to do first and foremost whatever they need and feel comfortable to do. And then I give them the experiences that I've had as a broker. And I found that in my 14-year career, when you offer the buyer's agent a co-broking opportunity, you now just not have opened it up only to Peter Mancini's sphere. You've now opened it up to the entire community of brokers that are working for you. Now, when I go into listing appointments and I speak with seller clients, I explain this exactly to them. And I say these exact words. You have the right to do whatever you want to and however comfortable. If you want me to try to sell it without first, fine. If you want me to do this, fine. Here's my experience. Here's what's happened in my career. So the undercutting comes when I say I want to do it at this number, and then they interview someone else and they say I'll do it at 2 points lower than him. So that's where this NAR kind of has made it very interesting for everybody. That being said, I've found when I look at the Sirhan listings, when I look at the Compass listings, the Douglas Elliman and the Cochran listings, the Brown Harris Stevens listings, the reality is the higher end clients are always listing and always offering a buyer's broker co-broke. Why? Because that opens it up to everyone, where at that point, people, buyer's agents who have clients, bring them, they're satisfied, you're satisfied, the money's coming from the top anyway, and there's no confusion. Because if you don't do that, if the seller was to offer zero, then they could take a seller's concession. So now it's still in the price anyway. What percentage of that concession has to be determined, and then you may lose a deal that seems very good because you weren't willing to give to the concession. So that's where this whole NAR settlement has been confusing for a lot of people. I kind of always say the illusion of choice leads to confusion. So we have all these opportunities, and sometimes they can be clear, but for the most part, we're still educating the sellers on exactly what's happened, and it usually happens that way.
You jumped very deeply already into this entire topic. For someone who has no idea what happened there with the NAR and the difference right now, give us an overview there quickly so that we can exactly understand like what potential sellers have, as you say, like have more of a right or has changed for them.
So I'll go into it on what I've heard in our Brooklyn MLS meetings and what I've heard from the Real Estate Board of New York. I haven't studied the cases. I have spoken to some of the attorneys on that have given me some information on it. Basically, what was happening, and we never really did this in New York City. It wasn't explained to the seller how that 4, 5, 6% was being broken up. And what happened was, I guess some group of sellers somewhere in America felt that they were kind of being mistreated and not really represented correctly, and they were paying a fee and they didn't know what they were paying. So now that trickled down to a class action lawsuit, and basically a lot of the MLSs and companies, to avoid litigation later, settled. So one that we're a part of, the Brooklyn MLS, kind of settled. And now if you look on the Brooklyn MLS listings, there's no co-broke and there's nothing being offered anymore because they're not allowed to do it anymore. The REBNY has not settled yet, the Real Estate Board of New York. So when you look at their RLS platforms, whichever you use, you can see the co-broke agreements. We use Luxury Presence as our website host, and we're allowed, because as members of REBNY, also we can put it up that we're offering 1, 2, 3, whatever the number is that we're offering as a buyer's compensation. So that event that happened somewhere in mid-America has had consequences throughout the entire country, but in New York City, we would never. I mean, whenever I spoke with clients, I basically spelled it out. You can offer 0. You can offer half and half. You can offer me this. So that was always being done here, and now we are here, and it's kind of given this. We now have to explain it even more, and sometimes, as I said before, it gets a little confusing because if you offer 0, you've eliminated all the buyer's brokers, and you're hoping that they sign a buyer's broker agreement, and before they've even shown that house, they're asking for 3, 2, 4%, and that money can't be borrowed. That money has to be paid up front. Then there's negotiations for seller concessions, and are they willing to pay? So it gets back and forth, which I feel could have been avoided in New York City.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for the clarification. And I actually thought it's like a default option, default setup to have a co-broker involved, basically. You know, it's so common. Okay, I thought it's like, so that's like the huge, that's like my image, my impression in the States, which is very common, or what used to be very common. Like you have, like, I'm a seller's broker or I'm a co-broker, and apparently it's not the case.
So just to give you the rules that we have at REBNY is universal co-broke. That should have been, right? So if we had 4%, it should be 2 and 2 if there's everybody involved. 5, 2.5. My family's from Italy, as you had mentioned, and I know. We had property in Italy that we sold, and it's very similar to the product that we have going on right now. Listing side pays listing, buyer side pays buyer. I don't know how effective or ineffective it is in Italy. I'm not there seeing what's happening with the immobiliare, but I thought that the system that we had in place here in New York City was working wonderfully, and but things are bigger than me, so we just adapt and try to make the best that we can.
I once had a person on the show, and he was giving so much of details regarding micro neighborhoods in Madrid. And I love the fact that you are so hyperly focused on Brooklyn area. And I think this is the real value of real estate agents, to be honest, to know exactly what's going on. You know the barber shop, you know what is the deli at the corner is talking about and stuff. And I would like to take advantage of having you on the call so that you give us like some specifics about what's going on in Brooklyn and maybe like sub Brooklyn neighborhoods there where you say, actually, nice project here, interesting listing there, very trendy region or neighborhood, and we can go very, very specific in your market.
Sure, I'll give you a couple. So where I live, and I do a lot of business here, is Bay Ridge, Brooklyn, New York. One of the key factors of our neighborhood is the walkability, the safeness of it, the promenade, Shore Road Park, the shopping, single-family homes, beautiful mansion-like homes in the 80s, in 80s, 81st, 82nd Street are the beautiful streets. Price point, it can be a single-family home. Regular is over 1.2 million. The exclusive ones are over 2.5, 3 million. And then you have condos and co-ops. For the most part, professionals live here, and it's to me, it was the neighborhood of neighborhoods. And now it's kind of a place that's, because it's so far removed. We had talked about Williamsburg and Greenpoint and Dumbo before. Because there's only one train here, and there's only one express bus here. The younger people who are much more into going into Manhattan are moving downtown. But here is this secret little place where you walk around with your family, you feel fantastic. There's so much to offer. There's so much here. And price point, you get a really good amount for what you're buying here. Again, if it's priced well, it sells. If you're reaching, it stays on the market. I'll jump to Park Slope, which is maybe 5-10 minutes by car from where we are right now in this conversation. Our office is in Park Slope proper. That's 5th Street and 6th Avenue. You have the typical brownstone homes there. The brownstone homes in the 1970s, everybody ran away from them. Nobody wanted to be there. And now they're fetching between $4 to $6 million when they go back up for sale. There are a lot of condo projects being done and rental projects being done in what they now deem, I thought it was Park Slope, it's now considered Gowanus Canal, off of Union, off of Bond, off of all these streets where we're more industrial. The rezoning of it, now you have these fully amenitized buildings, gyms, pool, children's centers, libraries, workspaces. So again, adapting to the new way clients, what they want, what their needs are. Where in Bay Ridge it's the typical older home. In Park Slope, those townhomes may have a gym because you put it in there. These new constructions basically have everything, but the one thing you give up on is space. The reality is all these newer buildings, if you want space, the price goes through the roof. But I've seen in like the Brooklyn Point, a studio apartment going for $700,000, $800,000, $900,000. So that's something that I am getting used to as a broker. The price point of location. I mean, literally thinking about, I could get you a 2-bedroom, 2-bath condo in Bay Ridge for $900,000. That you're willing to pay for that for a studio to be downtown Brooklyn. So that's the specialization and the niches I'm seeing. The older, the 30, 40 somethings who want more space tend to move away. The younger tend to move into that because of access to the city, the vibe, the groove, all that kind of stuff in those areas. And I mentioned Park Slope and Bay Ridge. There are plenty of other areas around there too, which we can get into, but I work mostly in those two. And that's where I see my strength too. I'm not trying to get listings all over the place. I want to work with people and areas that I'm very familiar with, where I can tell you, you need a gym, you go to Harbor Fitness on 15th Street, or you go to one on 92nd Street. You need a good Italian restaurant, head over to Brooklyn Heights, you go to Noodle Pudding. You need a good shopping, you go to Food Town. And so that's where being a resident of it and living it every day kind of gives me that little bit of an edge when I'm helping you and guiding you as a buyer, as a renter. As a seller, because we're involved in everything, the Brooklyn MLS and REBNY, we bring everyone to the table for you. So it's really very important.
Making sure that people reaching out to you when they want to sell, what do you think is like the most important thing as a successful real estate agent? Not only starting off, but also nurturing. You said obviously the most important thing, customer experience, making sure that you're having satisfied customers, from which probably also you're gonna get like a lot of referrals. Apart from that, new leads, do you run ads? Do you list on social media? I see you have your own vlog. So what are for you right now in 2025 key components in order to make sure that you are nurturing your brand and you're pushing yourself out there?
Absolutely. Thank you for that question. So the biggest thing that I've been doing is my vlog/blog. We've done currently we are finishing up our 1031 exchange vlog. I have a team that basically takes a piece of content and then turns it into many pieces of content. So we're working on a 1031 vlog. It's on our YouTube channel, Peter Mancini Pen Realty. Then it's basically shared across social media. We post, I would say, 2 to 3 times a day. Basically, we offer checklists on that content. We offer a blog on that content. That's housed at our penrealty.net/blog section. We've broken that up into sections for you: buyer, seller, 1031 exchange, core values. We also we firmly believe in giving back. Being the son of a person who had dementia, if you go to our website, in the header, you will see donate to Caring Kind. Caring Kind is an organization that helps families of people whose someone in their family has dementia or Alzheimer's. So in every transaction that we do, in everything that we offer, in every social media post, in every vlog post, we always, 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 always affiliate ourselves with Caring Kind New York to raise awareness. To raise awareness for what's happening. So coming back full circle, and sorry for going off in that direction. Our vlog is the biggest point of reach for us right now, and from that vlog, we create other pieces of content that are shared: LinkedIn, Facebook, X, Pinterest, and I think there's one thing called Blogger that we do too.
Thank you so much. It's exactly a trend which I'm seeing raising in importance, to be out there, to create organic content, and then to cut into pieces. That's also obviously one of the services, or the main service which I'm offering, and I see like a huge trend and a huge realization of also individual brokers to push their personal brand.
Yeah,
Even
sure. I mean, it's reality. I mean, you have to be out there in front of people, because if you're not, then they don't know you exist. Sometimes I see it as as that white noise, but the reality is I've gotten people to reach back to me and ask me questions on social media, and then we're building relationships that way too.
again, it's like a new realization of individual brokers to know exactly it's not enough anymore to just be affiliated with a franchise and they do everything. It's what you bring to the table, how knowledgeable you are, because in the end, it's the individual broker you're talking to. I love the fact that you are pushing awareness regarding dementia and Alzheimer. And it's good that you do that.
Thank you. I could see that it's something very important for you too. And I'll share this because it's important, as it's important to both of us here. I found this organization through a friend, and having my dad go through it and calling me names and not really understanding, and getting mad at times, and then learning that I'm not doing it on purpose, and really, having that support and supporting them is everything for me. My daughter, who has volunteered for them and is now going to be working for them very shortly in June, brings chills to me. And whatever we can do to really help, whatever we can really do to help people who are going through that, it's amazing. Every year October, we walk in Central Park. We get to show Pen Realty off, but I'm not there I'm there obviously for many other reasons than just Pen Realty. And then the more you talk to people and the more you realize, client that we're going to be listing his mom's house that's going to be closer to Coney Island, a two-bedroom, one bath co-op. Mom has dementia. Had to move her to Syracuse, where he lives now, And I basically said to him, upon the sale of this property, I promise you that we will be definitely giving a donation in your mom's name to Kind. And it's just something that we feel strongly about. One, because we've been affected by it, but it's the right thing to do.
Peter, thank you so much for your time today on a Saturday. I really appreciate your insights, your knowledge, and also your overall approach. I learned a lot. You gave us a very nice overview of the current real estate market in New York City. You went down the micro neighborhoods. You walked us through the challenges regarding lawsuits and settlements, NAR, and you also gave us the importance about personal branding and differentiating yourself among other real estate agents, which are obviously prevalent in New York City, along also the franchises. Now, someone who has been listening to this podcast, how can he or she reach out to you if they're interested to learn more about your services?
You can find me anywhere on social media, and you can drop me a message wherever you'd like to there. Definitely go to penrealty.net, contact me there. My phone number's there, my email is there. You could basically reach out to me however you want to. The best way for me, being at the age that I am, is give me a call anytime you want to. We can discuss it. If that doesn't work for you, we can text, we can email, whatever's comfortable. I enjoy speaking with people. I find it it's a better conversation for me. But obviously, if it works for you in a different way, then I'll adapt and I'll pivot to whatever's better for you. But yeah, I'm pretty much everywhere, all over social, Joe. You can send me DM, or you could just give me a text or a call or an email.
Perfect. I'll put the contact information to the show notes, and I send the best regards to Brooklyn. Wish you a wonderful weekend, and thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for your time. I appreciate you.
Bye-bye. This video is brought to you by HalloCasa. Our tool transforms independent local real estate agents to global real estate agents. Create your own profile for free and get contacted by international investors. Sign up with the link in the description.